Good morning, student. I am Manish Pandey from LPM Public School, and today I am going to teach you chapter number 18 from English Grammar, and that is clauses. Page number 169. So, my decision is you all know that because severe cold wave school is closed, so we are making videos and sending you on your WhatsApp to go through the video and learn something about the chapter. So yesterday I taught you, I told you something about phrase, and today I am going to tell you something about clauses. So first of all, we have to know the definition of clause. Okay, so I will write on the blackboard and I will tell you everything about clause. What is clause and what is the difference between phrase and clause. So first of all, we have to go through the definition of clause. Okay, what is the definition of clause? So a clause is a group of words that forms part of a sentence and has a subject and a finite verb on its own. A clause has only one finite verb in it. Okay, I will write definition on the blackboard and then I will make you understand with the help of examples what is clause. Clause is a group of words that forms a part of sentence and has a finite verb and we stand alone. Okay, so now what do you understand? What do you know? What do you understand by this definition which I have written on the blackboard? Okay, just let me repeat once again the definition of clause. A clause is a group of words that form part of a sentence and has a subject and a finite verb of its own. A clause has only one finite verb in it. A clause has only one finite verb. A clause has only one finite verb in it. Okay, so it means clause must have one subject and one finite verb, whereas in phrase there is no any subject and finite verb. Okay, so now I will write some example of phrase and clause. Now you have to identify which is clause and which is phrase. Okay, so now I am writing on the blackboard. First example on the table. So my dear student, you have to identify that if there is any subject or predicate in this group of words, there is any subject or predicate on the table. Which is subject, which is predicate? There is no any subject and predicate. There is no any subject and finite verb. So we can say that this is an example of phrase. This is not clause, this is phrase. Okay, my dear student, now I have written on the table is phrase. Okay, now let me take one example of clause. Okay, so as I told you that clause must Okay, so let me tell you, let me write on the blackboard. He could not go to school because he was sick. So we can say that because he was sick, this is clause. He was sick. This is clause because he was sick. This is clause because this clause has the subject and subject is he and finite verb is was. So clause must have one subject and finite verb, whereas in phrase there should not be any subject or finite verb. So you can clearly understand the difference between the phrase and clause. This is an example of phrase and this is an example of clause. Okay, but student, are you getting me? Are you getting the difference between the phrase and clause? Okay, phrase there should not be only group of words. In phrase only group of words should be there, and in phrase one subject and one finite verb should be there. So you can clearly identify and you can clearly get the difference between phrase and clause. Okay, okay, my student. Okay, let me tell you other point on clause. First, I would like to wrap the blackboard. Then I will write some other things on the blackboard about clause. Okay? Okay. I found a she said which was green in color. Let me write. I found which was green in color. I found a t-shirt which was green in color. So we can say that which was green in color. This is clause. Okay. And this is part of sentence. Clause is always part of sentence, and same thing is happening with phrase. Phrase can also be a part of sentence, and clause can also be a part of sentence. If clause can stand alone on its own, it must be sentence. It must be sentence. It must be called sentence. Okay. So which was green in color? This is clause because this clause is having subject and predicate on its own. Okay, my dear student. Now let me tell you the difference between phrase, clause, and sentence. So how you will identify? What is the difference? What are the differences between clause, phrase, and sentence? One by one, all the points I will explain before you. So you have to just keep your eyes on the blackboard. What I am going to write on the blackboard. Okay. So some differences. What is the difference between phrase, clause, and sentence? Okay. One by one I will take. Phrase. Phrase is meaningful group of words. I am writing in short. Okay, meaningful. This is also meaningful. And sentence is also meaningful. Okay, so second point that it has no subject or predicate. No subject and predicate. So in phrase you will find no subject and predicate. In clause, subject and finite verb. Subject and finite verb must be there. Okay? Without subject and finite verb, we cannot say that this is clause. And in sentence, same thing is also with sentence. Subject and finite verb should be there. Subject and finite verb should be there. Okay. Now next point. What is that? Is third point. Phrase. What is third point about phrase? It has no finite verb. We can see that phrase is having no finite verb. So no finite verb. Okay, my dear student. Do you understand what is finite verb? I told you several times in the classroom. Finite verb are those verbs which change according to the number and person. Okay, and which shows tense. Okay. So third point is that in phrase no finite verb in phrase and in clause one finite verb should be there. Okay, my dear student, are you getting me? Are you getting me? What I am telling you, what I am trying to tell you, are you getting me? Okay. So in clause one finite verb should be there, and in sentence at least one finite verb. In sentence also at least one finite verb should be there. Okay. Next point, a phrase does not make complete sense by itself. Actually, phrase make some sense but not complete sense. Okay, and in clause also make some sense, but clause is, as we all know, that clause is a part of sentence. Okay, clause cannot stand alone. If it may stand alone, it must be called sentence. Okay. Now in this part, third category, sentence can stand on its own. It expresses a complete thought. So we can say that sentence can express a complete thought. There should no any doubt about it. Okay. So you should be very clear in your mind that sentence is expressing a clear idea and clear thought. Now next thing I will explain before you is principal and subordinate clause. How we will identify that this is principal clause and this is subordinate clause. So let me write on the blackboard this point, then I will tell you how we will identify that this is principal clause and this is subordinate clause. Okay. Let me write one example on the blackboard. We admire her because she is talented. admire her because she is talented. In this sentence, we can say that we are having two clauses. First, we admire her. This is clause number 1. Okay, and from because she is talented, this is clause number 2. This is clause number 1 and this is clause number 2. Now we have to identify all both the clause as a principal and subordinate clause. So which is principal clause and which is subordinate clause? How do we know? How do we know that this is principal clause and this is subordinate clause? So there is one way through which we can identify that this is principal clause and this is subordinate clause. In principal clause can stand alone without depending on other clause. So when we tell that we admire her, we are expressing complete idea. We are expressing complete thought. Okay, there should not be any doubt about it. Okay, so we admire her. This clause can stand alone as a sentence. Let me write on the blackboard. We admire her. Okay, this is complete. This is expressing complete thought. Okay, so this is sentence. If I write only from we to her, this is complete sentence. So we can say that this clause is working here as a principal clause. Okay, this is principal clause. Okay, this is principal clause. Now, next part of the sentence is because she is talented. If we write here because she is talented, so if I read this clause because she is talented, so we are not getting a complete thought. It is not meaningful clause. It means it will be depending on other clause for the completion of meaning. So because she is talented, this clause is dependent on principal clause. This clause is dependent on principal clause. Without principal clause, this clause cannot stand alone in a sentence. So we are seeing that this is subordinate clause or dependent clause. The other name is subordinate clause is dependent clause. Subordinate clause या फिर और dependent clause. Okay. Now other name of principal clause is independent clause. This is called independent clause also. This is dependent clause and this is independent clause. These are principal clause and independent clause are same. Here subordinate clause and dependent clause is same. Subordinate clause with dependent clause. Subordinate clause is depending on principal clause for the completion of its meaning. Okay, my dear student, are you getting me? So subordinate clause, when you just read subordinate clause in a book or somewhere else, you must be clear in your mind that this clause must be depending on principal clause. So this is principal clause and this is subordinate clause. So now next thing I will tell you that there are how many types of clauses are there? There are 3 types of clauses. First,